What's up, y'all? Got the gummies. Thank y'all for tuning in to today's video. If you haven't been already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you. Today's video, we're just going to talk about 3 things that I've learned so far in my lock journey. You know, there's a lot of things that you're going to learn along the way, but these are just 3 things that, you know, I've learned so far. Number 1, you have to be patient. I'll talk about this in a lot of my other videos, but patience takes on a whole nother meaning when it comes to locking your hair, because like I say, regardless of what your experience is, you're gonna have to be patient. You know what I mean? If you have short hair, you're gonna have to be patient and wait for it to get longer. If you have long hair, you have to understand that a part of the locking process is that it's gonna get shorter, you know, which is the direct opposite of what people who have really short hair go through. They just really have to be patient in understanding that it's gonna lock as it grows. But when you've already got long hair, I think it's sort of a mental, you know, it's sort of a mental thing, something that you've got to get over in your mind, because of the fact that if you've already grown accustomed to having hair that's a certain length, as your hair locks, like I talked about before in other videos, as your hair locks, it's gonna, you know, shrink in essence, because it's knotting on itself. And it's just like before, like I talked about when I talked about if you tie a knot in a rope, the rope's gonna get shorter. It's the same concept. As your hair locks up, it's gonna get shorter. So that's been one of the things that it's funny. You're happy because of the fact that you can see that your hair is starting to lock, but you're annoyed at the fact that you're losing length that you previously had. So I mean, like mine, like from week to week, there's times when I can pull it back and put it in a ponytail, which I'm trying not to do as much, but you know, just because of, you know, it causes damage to your roots and stuff like that when you're pulling it too tight. But I can remember in the very beginning, like if you look back at some of my photos, as a matter of fact, I'll insert a photo from when my wife initially did my finger coils. My hair was like, it was like down here, you know what I mean? Like legit. Now it's like right here. You know what I mean? Sometimes just depending on that, maybe a little bit lower, like right, but that is, whoa, it's like, yo, but as you start to move it around, I'm not going to take it out of this thing, but as you start to like move it around and you can see that they're actually starting to look like locks, like I say, you're really happy, but at the same time, you're like, oh, man, it's a little bit annoying too. So for those of y'all out there who have length and are having to deal with the fact that it's starting to get shorter, I feel you. Number 2, moisturization is big, because of the fact that I don't think a lot of people really do understand that when your hair is dry, your hair is brittle, and when your hair is brittle, your hair is more subject to breaking off. And if your hair is breaking off, then you're losing everything that you're trying to work for. You know what I mean? You're losing the length, you're losing the volume, you're losing all of that. Like I say, you don't want your hair to break off. You really don't, because that can cause all types of issues for you, cause all types of problems in terms of your locks and your progress. So it really is important that you learn the importance of moisturization. You know what I mean? And like I say, there's not a one size fits all. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of different YouTubers and go to a lot of different, you know, Instagram pages and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? A lot of people swear by a lot of different things. You know, some people swear by rose water. Some people swear by, you know, a combination of rose water and other, you know, other things, glycerin and jojoba oils and things like that. Some people swear by the Jamaican mango and lime. Some people use just, you know what I mean, water. They put water in a bottle, in a spray bottle, distilled water, and just spray their hair down every day. Regardless of what your methods are, I feel like you can't overstate the importance of moisturization when it comes to locks, because you really, really do need your hair to be moist. You really, really do need your hair to be healthy. And, you know, moisturization in our hair is key to healthy hair. So you really can't overstate that. And like I said, I feel like if you're a person who's in a situation where maybe you have kids, you know what I mean, maybe you don't have the type of job that will allow you to go out and buy rose water every couple weeks, because like I say, it's sort of a gift and a curse. You know what I mean? I find myself in a predicament where I initially, when I made my Loc potion, I got the recipe, if you will, from West Indie Ray. Incredible channel if you haven't checked it out already. Most of y'all probably have already run across her channel already, or followers of hers. So, but I, you know what I mean, I watch a lot of her videos, and she swears by rose water, and rose water is great. But one of the things that I wasn't really aware of is rose water is expensive. You know what I'm saying? And if you moisturize your hair at the rate at which it probably needs to be moisturized, you're going to go through that stuff pretty quickly. And so even if you order it off of Amazon or wherever you find it, wherever you source it, it's going to be pretty pricey if you're not in a position to just go out and drop, you know, 15, 20 bucks every couple weeks, which I'm not. You know what I mean? Some people are. Like, for some people, it's not a big thing. And for some people, maybe they don't use as much as I do. But I found that every 2 to 3 weeks, I was having to re-up on a bottle of that stuff, and I was getting like the medium to large, you know, I think I got like the medium sized bottle. It was either $10 or $15. And like I say, for some people, a drop in the bucket, but for me, that's, you know what I mean, that's a significant amount of change. You know what I mean? When it adds up, like I said, if you're dropping 15 bucks every couple weeks, that's 30 bucks a month just on rose water. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily a viable option for me. So I initially kind of changed my potion up to distilled water, and I was going with distilled water, jojoba oil, and vegetable glycerin. And I think I threw some essential oils, and I don't remember the scent, but I went with that. And that actually, I was surprised that it didn't work nearly as well. I don't know if there's something in the rose water that just gives it an extra moisturization effect, but the distilled water didn't work nearly as well for me in terms of maintaining moisture in my hair. Maybe I needed to add more oil, I'm not sure. But when I made the second batch of potion that I was going to use, Loc potion that I was going to use, that the distilled water didn't work nearly as well. So the rose water, if I were going to stick to that, would probably be a necessity, unless I could figure out something else to put in there to kind of help the distilled water do what the rose water does. And if any of y'all are out there and you know of a way to make your own rose water, like, rose water to me sounds like roses and water, but I don't know if I'm oversimplifying it, so I don't really know what rose water is, if I'm being frank. So if there's any of y'all out there who knows exactly what rose water is and how you could probably make it yourself for cheap, then drop a comment down below, hit me on my DMs on my Instagram, and let me know, because I would really like to go back to that once I've gotten through, you know, the stuff that I have right now. But like I said, expense is something that a lot of people aren't necessarily in a position to just sort of gloss over. I mean, because like I said, for some people it sounds simple to just say, yeah, use rose water, use this, but it can get costly, you know what I mean? And so it's just like people find themselves in a position of where they're just like, I can't afford that on an extended basis, you know what I mean? You may be able to go get a bottle of rose water, and I mean, or maybe you could dilute the rose water and use rose water and distilled water. I don't know, just had that thought. Maybe we'll try that. But anyhow, for those of you who are worried about expense, just try to research alternative ways in which you can still moisturize your hair without having to break the bank. Because like I said, the reality is that a lot of us just aren't in a position to go out and do some of the things that other people are. But it does have to serve as a deterrent for you to just not do anything at all. So, you know, like I say, for me, that's just one of the things that I thought about in the midst of thinking about how important, you know, moisturization is with locks. The number three thing that I've learned, I kind of talked about a minute ago, is your hair is going to shrink. You know, and I had heard that before. Like I had watched, like I say, I had watched a ton of videos. I follow a lot of different channels, and people always talk about shrinkage. They always talk about how much your hair is going to shrink. But it's something, I guess it never really hit home. Like, it never really registered with me. I was just, I don't know, you know, to be honest with you, for whatever reason, until I actually started to experience it myself, it never really registered that, dude, your hair is down here initially, you know, down there, or even maybe even a little bit lower, and now it's up here. You know what I mean? Like a bob. And I'm like, ha ha, it sucks, you know. But at the same time, like I say, I have to consider the fact that before, they weren't locks. Before, it was just strands of hair that had been coiled together and were being held together by, you know, whatever they were being held together with, locking gel or whatever. Whereas now, they're actually locks. You know what I mean? In a lot of different cases. Like I say, let me get a little bit closer so y'all can see. But, you know, they're not fully blunted, you know, in all of the situations, but a lot of them are starting to get there. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like the entire lock, like the whole thing is starting to, you know, blunt, I guess is the correct term. But I'm excited about it. Like I say, I'm excited about the fact that they're starting to do what they do at a you know, on a larger scale, not just the ends anymore. Like the entire, you know, lock is starting to do its thing, and I'm really excited about it. But man, it's hard when you're losing length, man. These help, like these lock socks do help, I will say that, because it prevents me from having to focus on that as much. And I'm still fortunate enough that I can still have the look that I'd like to have, because I like this look. You know what I mean? I like being able to put on the sock and then still have the hair hanging out the back. Like, that's dope. I don't think it's gonna get any shorter than it already is. I really don't. I think the shortness is probably about where it's gonna be. I hope. You know what I mean? I'll probably wake up one day and have a little baby fro, and I'll really be frustrated. But no, hopefully, like I say, I've gotten through that part, you know what I mean, in terms of it shortening and locking on itself. And now hopefully we can move toward the roots starting to do their thing on a larger scale, and then, you know, hopefully in another 6 months I'll have, you know, down here working with a little shine, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, those are the 3 things I've kind of learned along the way thus far. Like I said, if you have any other questions, definitely feel free to drop me a comment down below. Definitely give the video a like, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So appreciate y'all, thank y'all, and until next time, peace.